to the Public and Protective Services meeting. Just hang on. It disappeared again on me. There I go. Okay. Welcome to the Public and Protective Services Committee meeting for March 19th at 9 a.m. On this committee is myself, Mike O'Connor. Councillor Bosch may not be in attendance. Kevin O'Toole should be on, and Mayor Clayton. I'd like to read the land acknowledgement. The city respectfully acknowledges the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people as the original caretakers of these lands and surrounding areas. We are grateful to live, learn, work, and play on Treaty 8 territory within Turtle Island and acknowledge these lands having been home to diverse and sovereign First Nations and Inuit nations since time immemorial. I'd like to have a mover of the adoption of the agenda, please.
Mayor Clayton, you're the only one online.
So moved. Yeah, so moved.
Okay. Thank you. And okay, for those online.
See.
Nothing's coming up. I know I've had 2 successful, so it's just not coming off the screen, Amanda.
Thank you, Chair O'Connor. We do have Councillor O'Toole online as well. Just waiting for his vote.
Okay. How do you vote, Kevin?
Get this thing through here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just move the adoption of the agenda. Can you have your vote, please?
In favor.
Okay. That's carried unanimously. We'll now move on to our delegation portion. We have Delegation 4.1 from Sunrise House, and Ms. Tanya Wald, you have the floor.
Good morning. I thought you missed me already, so I would just come right on back. Just kidding. So I am here just to give an update with regards to our operational funding that we received for last year. So this operational funding that we received is primarily used for our frontline youth support wages, as well as for some of our programming and housing supplies. Last year, 131 intakes came in to the shelter. Of course, we were still in our previous building, which means we sat pretty close to capacity throughout the year. We are already seeing much higher numbers going into this year, so we expect that number to be quite a bit higher going into the end of the year. So, for example, in January we had 22 unique intakes, which is quite high for a single month. Just wanted to touch, I guess, quickly on some of the challenges. I know that I was asked of it a bit the last time I was here, so just wanted to touch. And I think, you know, our biggest challenge still remains in systems. And I know there's a lot of work happening sort of with council in terms of sort of mental health and bringing in more, you know, doctors and nurses and all those things. So I just wanted to highlight that a little bit, that does continue. And it's not for sort of the lack of our agencies doing really great work, but it's sort of that next level, and particularly looking at more of those interventions, residential care when it comes to mental health and addictions for young people. We're still continuing to see that on the rise, and it's becoming our primary care that we're providing within shelter. We're also still continuing to see increases in youth exploitation. So we've been working quite closely with our RCMP officers and trying to work to respond to that in the best way. On a good note, when we look through our responses and our surveys throughout last year, about 93% of our youth that were surveyed left the shelter feeling safe. They felt more equipped to handle crisis, and again, the majority of our youth were either returned to their previous home or with alternate care or guardians. So a really great success from our team last year, and this year with some of those expansions to programs and our staffing, we expect to see that really continue. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Tanya. Great report. Are there any questions, Ms. Amanda?
There's no one put their hand up on your committee. Okay. Do we need a motion to accept that? Thank you very much for your presentation, Tanya, and we'll deal with that at a later moment.
All right, great, thank you.
We'll now go on to the 4.2 Cairn Housing Society, and we'll wait. Let us know when we're set up for that.
Do I need to do this? Does it hear me up here? My name is Carrie Barch, and I'm the Executive Director of the Cairn Housing Society, and I have the Treasurer of our board with me in case you have any financial questions regarding the proposal that we've submitted for emergency funding. So we submitted sorry?
Go ahead.
Better? Okay. Oh, it's movable. Can you tell I'm a newbie here? There we go. Better? Testing. So we submitted a proposal for some emergency funding. We had a funder pull out because of their own financial hardship. So the budget that we had for a year was compromised. And in that, we've submitted a proposal to the City of Grande Prairie for some emergency funding. One of the highlights I would like to capitalize on here is I think there's a misconception a little bit in the city of what the Cairn Housing Society is. And so Mr. Brad Cameron, through his corporation, was given some money through the provincial government several years ago to build the Cairn Housing Society, our Cairn Housing Complex, and it is completely different than the society that is run out of there. The society is the supports and services that go into the building to support vulnerable people, and the Cairn Housing Corporation is our landlord. He's the person who owns the building. They are completely separate entities, and therefore the society was built in 2018 and really started to gain traction in the last couple years because of the incredible high turnover in evictions for the vulnerable people living there. So we've built the society, and operationally in the last 2 years since we've put in supports and services, we have 1 part-time mental health coordinator and 3 peer supports that live in the building. The peer supports live in the building. And we've been able to mitigate evictions to have 3 evictions only in the last 2 years, where before we were seeing a revolving door literally at the Cairn Society or Cairn Housing Complex. So in that, we are in a bit of a crisis situation because, as even Tanya talked about here earlier, being able to access supports and services like counseling, medical services in a timely manner, especially for people experiencing mental health and addictions, is a major concern in our city right now. So our supports and services really are that prevention and diversion that is happening in Grande Prairie and part of our homelessness equation. We, even the 3 people that we did evict, we did reach out to the city's mobile outreach program for one of the ladies, and they provided some services, but then told us they couldn't continue to provide services because she wasn't yet homeless. So one of the problems that we have is our vulnerable people that haven't experienced homelessness yet and who is supporting them in the meantime. We do know that the Friendship Centre, for instance, can provide one-time rent relief, and there are some programs, but that ongoing support for people that are living in poverty, that are really struggling, is a major concern in our city right now. If we don't keep these supports and services running, we estimate 30 to 40 people will lose their housing and end up on our streets or in precarious situations. That includes families as well as individuals. Right now, we have 75 bachelor suites, 9 one-bedrooms, 15 two-bedrooms, 10 three-bedrooms, and 3 four-bedrooms. And it's an integrated community service. One of the things that has been our major success is providing community integration services. So it's about the supports and services and the classes, but also about the barbecues, the helping each other bring groceries in, and it's with accountability. So for instance, the one fellow that we had, and I wanted to kind of highlight on this because I think there's a misconception as well, is that we don't work with the hardest to house. We had one fellow with a long time alcohol addiction, and the community around surrounded him and supported him in several ways, helping him up to his room and doing other things until finally he couldn't manage himself and his physical well-being. And instead of evicting him, the support services there were able to connect with family, and he's now living with his son, even though we tried to get him into other services. We've had families there that have come with absolutely nothing. We have a lot of people that are new to Canada, and we have a room that is filled with supplies that they can come and shop to start up their housing. We have a food security program that we're going to have to cut down to 2 days a week instead of 7 days a week. And even with partnering with Salvation Army, it's very difficult for a mom with 3 children or 2 children to get home after they've used the bus, get onto the bus with their children, get home, and then try to get to the food bank after that. So we provide food security right in the building, and we work on the poverty reduction strategies with them on a continual basis. And we've had several people be able to move forward so that they're moving out of the society into market housing. So I don't know if you have any questions from their proposal, but I just wanted to give a very brief overview highlight with the time that we had.
Okay, thank you very much for the excellent report. I'll look around. I don't have the document. I thought I saw numbers in one of the documents that I had, but I don't see that, not available to me. Are there any other questions from Jackie or Kevin?
No hands are going up.
Okay, is there direction, Mayor Clayton, that we need to push this, or?
I would think that if somebody on the committee wants to, if there's business arising, then yes, you would take a motion.
Okay.
It does come up. It does come up on your agenda under 5.2.
Okay, thank you. I thought I saw the numbers somewhere. So with that, then, if there are no questions, then we'll move on to reports. And thank you very much, Tanya, for coming in and raising this concern with us.
You mean Carrie?
Go, Carrie. Sorry, I slipped to another committee. Sorry, my apologies, Carrie. Okay, with that, I'd like to move to reports, and we'll move to 5.1 service area update.
Thank you, Chair O'Connor. From Enforcement Services, they are preparing to host the spring vehicle for hire inspection cycles, which is scheduled for April 22nd to 26th, 2024. Administration anticipates that more than 120 vehicles will participate in this inspection process. Enforcement Services has also participated in meetings preparing for Safety City's roadway safety season, which will include bike rodeos and other programs aimed at teaching road safe behaviors for children and youth. On January 30th, RCMP Crime Reduction Unit began investigating multiple thefts from mailboxes that had occurred between December 14th of 2023 and January 22nd of this year. Video surveillance received from one of the 27 thefts resulted in the identification of a male suspect and his vehicle. A subsequent search warrant was conducted, leading to the arrest of the male suspect and a female suspect. On February 22nd, Grande Prairie RCMP drug section, with the assistance from Grande Prairie Police Dog Services and Grande Prairie Crime Reduction Unit, executed a search warrant at a residence in the Patterson area of Grande Prairie. As a result of the search warrant, drugs, cash, firearms, as well as drug trafficking paraphernalia were seized, and a resident of Grande Prairie is facing numerous charges. The RCMP will also be conducting its annual performance planning session next week. The session will include a review of community feedback collected during the Fall Town Hall Series and provide an overview of 2023 crime reports and trends. The RCMP will then be presenting and inviting feedback on their proposed priorities for 2024. In the fire department, Grande Prairie 911 conducted a planning exercise last week in preparation for the upcoming wildfire season. The exercise included updates to standard operating procedures, enhanced operability processes with partner agencies, workflow optimization strategies, and staff contingency planning. Fire administration has also participated in various informational and planning meetings hosted by GPREP and Alberta Wildfire. Today, Chief Preben Bosson officially retires from the City of Grande Prairie after 40 years to the day of working for the city as well as the fire department. So we'd like to take this opportunity to thank Chief Bosson for his service to the city and wish him all the best in his retirement. In Community Social Development, the Women of Influence Awards were held on March 8th, and it marked the largest event to date with 290 attendees. The organizing committee proudly extends their congratulations to the award recipients presented by Peace Diagnostic Imaging. Also in CSD, at this year's Youth Career Discovery Expo, the department will honor International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, globally observed on March 21st. The John Humphrey Centre will lead youth in creating an art installation centered on themes of belonging, anti-racism, and anti-discrimination, which will then be gifted to the new youth shelter for display. Under Housing and Homelessness Initiatives, the department is working with Alberta Works to streamline processes for individuals who require assured income for the severely handicapped, funding and income supports. This process refinement will shorten wait times for housing, hopes to prevent chronic homelessness, and will ensure participants access services and fundings that they require most. Housing and Homelessness Initiatives team is also assisting the construction team and focusing on building preparations for the 43 affordable housing units, which will be available for occupancy May 1st of this year. The team is also assisting in coordinating and preparing the facility for the municipal move on floors 1 and 2. Eastlink Centre Aquatics has been selected to participate in the National Swimming Recovery Pilot Program, facilitated through the Canadian Parks and Recreation Association. With federal funding provided by the government, the program aims to address the notable shortage of lifeguards and swim instructors across Canada. While recruitment strategies have yielded positive results thus far for the city, participating in this program offers the opportunity to expand our reach and attract a wider variety of qualified candidates. The Ovintiv Ready, Set, Go community event will be held at Eastlink Centre on Saturday, March 23rd from 12 to 5. There'll be an obstacle course, cannonball contest, cookie decorating, and lots of fun to be had for families. In Sports Development and Wellness, staff attended the Sport Event Congress last week, and the Recreation and Sport Coordinator participated in a panel discussion titled The Impact of Climate Change on Sport Hosting. A virtual session for community group enhancement funding will also be held on April 3rd. This session aims to address general questions related to the application, required paperwork, supporting documents, and interested applicants can register for the session by emailing grants@cityofgp.com. And that is the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Wonderful report, and a special thank you to 40 years of service for Chief Bosson. That's a tremendous accomplishment. So kudos to you and your service, sir. Any other questions from the rest of the committee, please?
Councillor O'Connor, I just had a comment, thanks.
Okay.
I just wanted to echo your gratitude to Chief Bosson. To be with one organization for that length of time is something to be truly proud of, and we just as a community and as an organization really want to thank him for the time, dedication, commitment, and passion to creating and helping create a safer community. So congratulations to him. Enjoy your retirement, and thank you. We really appreciate everything you've done for our community.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor Clayton. We will now, unless there's anybody else in the queue.
Yeah, I'd like to say something too.
Go ahead.
When I was in Winnipeg, I was talking to a number of vendors and other representatives of other communities, and everybody that I talked to knew about Grande Prairie and the events that we were hosting. So that just gives kudos to our department and the staff that we have. So if we're giving kudos, I want to make sure that they're mentioned. It didn't have to go too far. Everybody knew about Grande Prairie, and that was great.
Thank you, Councillor O'Toole. If there's nothing else, then we will move on to 5.2, emergency community. I need a motion, or we'll have discussion first on the, does somebody want to make this motion?
Ms. Patterson,
we don't need a motion first.
Ms. Patterson is here to deliver that report.
Okay, thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Thank you, Chair O'Connor. Administration has received an emergency community group funding application from the Cairn Housing Society. The organization provides peer support for the 184 residents of the building who require assistance with mental health, addiction, poverty, trauma, and challenges related to physical health. Since Cairn was incorporated in 2018, the Society, the organization has been able to maintain the organization's finances. However, they are currently unable to make payroll and cover other operational costs, such as staffing and utilities. Pandemic protocols, the demand for support services, and cost of living increases have resulted in the organization being in a deficit position. The Finance Department has reviewed and analyzed the financials, and based on the information provided, the organization has decreased revenue, increased expenses, and a declining ratio. Emergency funding supports immediate financial relief for organizations. With no budget allocated to emergency community group funding, administration is recommending that the $16,000 grant be funded from the Future Expenditures Reserve. Administration recommends that committee approve the recommendation as presented. Thank you. My report as presented, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions? Seeing none, I need a mover, please.
No, sorry. I have my hand for a question.
Sorry.
So just a question for administration in regards to the process here. Could you let me know if there was any other applications or opportunity for funding that the organization could have applied for?
Through the chair, thank you for the question, Mayor Clayton. The Cairn Housing Society has worked internally with other departments, such as our Housing and Homelessness Department. I know that Ms. Hughes is online, and she may be able to speak to that a little bit more. As a society, speaking with them, they have applied for other grants and funding. But right now, what they're experiencing is that $16,000 shortfall in operational funding.
Yeah, in particular, the housing access services, I understand there's opportunities there, and so I was wondering if they've applied for that.
I can't answer to if they've applied for that, but I do know that they've been working, as I said, with Ms. Hughes and the Housing and Homelessness Department as well.
Maybe Ms. Hughes wants to answer that. She is online.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, we did have a recent RFP that went out for funding for this year for housing access services, to which we did not receive a submission from the Cairn on the Boulevard. However, we do have some follow-up meetings that we are going to conduct with Cairn on the Boulevard to see if we can connect them to services that their tenants may access.
Okay. Just a quick question then. Is this going to be potential for a long-term support, or is this just intermediate?
Well, the request is for emergency group funding, which is one-time emergency group funding.
Okay.
But the RFP was a different process. So if I can continue, Mr. Chair O'Connor, I guess I just have to look at the staffing report. Maybe a question for Mr. Burke or Ms. Casually, because I understand Chief Lemieux's away. The recommendation is to fund this as emergency funding. However, I just heard from Ms. Hughes that we're going to have ongoing conversations, and there wasn't an application for an RFP. So there's a disconnect there, and I'm wondering if somebody can fill me in.
I can answer that, Chair O'Connor.
Okay, thank you.
When we're assessing emergency requests, we're looking at whether this was truly an emergency, a roof falling down or something like that, or a gap in funding that was unexpected. So when we were assessing this, our view was that they did have a plan to fund this. This wouldn't have come through a normal or an alternative funding stream, and that it would have an impact on residents if we didn't proceed. So in this case, we deemed this truly as a one-time emergency funding to deal with an acute funding shortage in the very short term. The other funding will have to go through that process, but this really did meet our test for emergency funding as it wasn't planned, and it had an immediate impact that the city could help address.
Thanks for that. Chair O'Connor, I have some business arising if you have no one else with questions from the committee.
Okay, any other questions from committee?
No.
Okay.
So, Chair O'Connor, I move that committee recommend council approve emergency community group funding in the amount of $16,000 to the Cairn Housing Society from the future expenditures reserve. To speak to the motion, I'm looking forward to a full conversation with council around this. And so that is not to approve that funding today. A reminder, this motion is in order for council to have a full conversation around this. Thank you.
Okay. And so is the motion then going forward or not?
The motion is to move that committee recommend council as in your package.
Right. Thank you. Call the question.
Sorry, Councillor O'Connor. Kevin has his hand up.
Okay. Councillor O'Toole.
Yeah. Hang on. I was going to make the motion as well, with pretty much identical to what Mayor Clayton said. Technology's been giving me a hindrance this morning, but no, I do agree that this is a place that houses a number of people that we're not giving them credit for, and maybe we are, maybe we aren't, but let's go ahead and have that conversation, and there's $16,000 that are on the line here. So, thank you.
Okay. We'll call the question then. That has been carried 3-0 unanimously. So we'll move that. Thank you very much for the report. We'll move on to 5.3, the Grande Prairie Police. And who's presenting that report?
For the chair, I would invite Dan Wong, chair of the Grande Prairie Police Commission, to present their their annual report for 2023 and their strategic plan for the next 2 years.
Thank you. We'll give Mr. Wong a moment to get up and introduce your delegation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Councillor O'Connor, Mayor Clayton, and committee members. My name is Dan Wong. I'm the chair of the Grande Prairie Police Commission. With me today is Lori Sittler, the executive director of the commission. And on behalf of the Police Commission, I'm pleased to be with you today to present our 2023 annual report and our 2024 to 2026 strategic plan. These documents set the framework for how we will create a modern police service that is responsive to the needs of Grande Prairie while improving accountability to council and the community. We intend to learn from industry professionals and experts across the country to utilize best practices and improve service from lessons that have been learned in other jurisdictions. As you are aware, municipal police commissions are not only governed by city bylaw, but also by the Police Act and the Alberta Policing Oversight Standards for municipal police commissions. It's the desire of the commission and the direction of the oversight standards to ensure planning and reporting processes are in place to maintain openness and transparency. So on that vein, I'll begin with just an introduction on our annual report, which is included in your packages. In Alberta, annual reports are typically developed by the police service in collaboration with the commission. As Grande Prairie's police service is currently under development and not operational, the commission felt it was still important to move forward with informing the public on progress throughout 2023. Our 2023 annual report is an opportunity to provide some background to our stakeholders on the roles and responsibilities of the commission, to introduce our newly developed vision, mission, and values, provide some background information on commission members and commission staff, as well as outline many activities that took place since members were appointed. So in 1913, the first municipal police commission was established in Lethbridge, Alberta, and until March 20th, 2023, the last municipal police commission was Camrose, which was established in 1956. So as you can imagine, the legislative requirements and responsibilities of commissions has changed significantly over the years. Grande Prairie Police Commission is the first municipal commission in 68 years, and I'm proud to be part of that and of the work that we've accomplished for the first 8 months. As you can see by our annual report, we were able to fully onboard all our members, establish standing committees, hire our first chief of police, undertake a stakeholder engagement process, and complete a 2-day strategic planning workshop with the Grande Prairie Police Service executive team. We're fortunate to have such commitment from a diverse group of community members. They have a lot of expertise and they're dedicated to fulfilling their mandate. So maybe I'll pause here to see if there's any questions on the annual report before I talk about the strategic plan.
Thank you, Chair Wong. Any questions for the delegation?
Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Councillor Blackmore and Chair O'Connor. I just had a question, Mr. Wong. Just for public consumption, can you explain a little bit more about the designation of a public complaints director?
Sure. I happen to have our executive director, who's also the public complaints director, so maybe I'll let her explain her role.
Thank you, through the chair. Mayor Clayton, the Public Complaints Director is designated by the Commission as a person within the community that the public can go to if they have a complaint against an officer, the services policies, or the chief of police. It allows them, sometimes they don't want to go to the police service directly, so it allows that person to liaison and bring those concerns to the police service for them. The legislation has changed when the Police Act was amended. So there is some uncertainty as to how the Public Complaints Director will continue once the regulations are received. But at this point, on the website, there is clearly outlined how people can contact the Public Complaints Director. There's a form that people can fill in if they have a complaint, and then the Public Complaints Director would bring that to the police chief if it's a complaint against the member or police service policies, or to the chair if it's a complaint against the police chief.
Thanks for that opportunity, Chair O'Connor. If I could just make a comment, I think it's really valuable information as we continue down this transition path for the community to have a better understanding and a fair understanding of exactly how transparent this process is. There is public monthly meetings that the community is encouraged to attend if they have questions, and this is just another layer that I think is valuable in that path of transition. So thank you for that explanation.
Thank you very much. You may continue unless there's any other questions. Okay, please continue, Chair Wong.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our strategic plan. So reaching our vision to lead the way in public safety requires significant commitment to a strategic plan. Our 2024 to 2026 plan provides a pathway to ensuring we deliver excellent governance and oversight to the GPPS and leading to a successful transition of police service in the City of Grande Prairie. So upon completion of the stakeholder engagement process, Commission members and the police service executive team met to discuss the input received at the sessions and developed a path forward for the transition period. This plan outlines the strategic priorities of the Commission, the objectives we wish to accomplish, and the initiatives we will develop in fulfilling our strategic priorities. As a newly established Commission, governance excellence, community engagement, monitoring and supporting the transition, and advocacy will be the focus over the next 3 years. We are committed to development of a police service that improves the quality of life and improves public safety for the citizens of Grande Prairie. Our policies have been updated to ensure the police service is engaging with the community as the service is built, and we will continue to monitor progress closely with a focus on efficient and effective policing. So in your packages is also our 2024 to 2026 strategic plan, and we'd be happy to field any questions of this committee or council members.
Thank you, Chair Wong. Any questions, please?
No one has their hand up.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'd like someone to make the motion. Who would like to do business, please?
Sure, I'm happy to do that, Chair O'Connor. I would move, my apologies. I would move the committee receive the Grande Prairie Police Commission 2023 annual report and the 2024 to 2026 strategic plan for information. Speaking to that motion, I thank the presenters today in this presentation. I think there's valuable information for the community as well as council. I appreciate the ongoing commitment to conversations, regular conversations with council and our organization. As we move down that path of transition, the open and clear communication between the organization, our community, and the Police Commission is of extreme importance. So thank you for your presentation today.
Thank you. That motion is in order. I'll call a question.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Councillor O'Connor in favor. Mr. O'Toole.
O'Toole in favor.
Okay, that was carried unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to 5.4, 2023 Equity and Diversity. I'll look to Ms. Cajolet to do the staff report.
Thank you. Through the chair, I would invite Ms. Chamberlain and Ms. Wenzel to the presenters table to present this report.
Thank you. And there they are. Please introduce yourselves.
Good morning, committee. Bobby Chamberlain, Director of Human Resources.
Good morning, Tammy Wenzel, Director of Community Social Development.
The floor is yours, ladies.
Thank you so much. I'm here today to present the annual EDI report card for the City of Grande Prairie as mandated by the motion passed on October 13th of 2021. This report reflects our ongoing commitment to fostering a culture of diversity and inclusion, both within our organization and across the community. Firstly, it's essential to emphasize that this report is a cumulation of collaboration across multiple departments. It's a testament to the shared responsibility of various teams, including human resources and social and community social development, to ensure that the EDI initiatives are not only happening internally, but across the community, making meaningful impact. As you can see within your package here today, we have included the 2023 EDI annual report, and I'll highlight a few of those things that I'll draw your attention to. First of all, we've met one of the initial criteria for Canada's 50-30 challenge regarding gender equity, showcasing significant progress in leadership representation. Our onboarding new employee program has successfully introduced over 270 employees to EDI principles, having laid a solid foundation for inclusivity from day one. Notable achievements in training include the completion of unconscious bias and addressing racism training by hundreds of staff members and community participants. Initiatives such as the International Day of Eradication of Poverty Challenge and the Microgrant Program for Youth demonstrates our commitment to addressing systemic barriers and promoting social equity. And finally, accessibility improvements such as ASL training for staff and sensory kits up on Nets Energy, underscoring our dedication to creating inclusive spaces for all. Importantly, these efforts align closely with the strategic priorities set out by Council, particularly in fostering an inclusive and caring community and nurturing engaging relationships. I'll turn it over to Director Wenzel.
Externally, we've actively collaborated with partners like the Grande Prairie Local Immigration Partnership, Youth Advisory Council, and other community stakeholders to go beyond organizational boundaries. Our dedication to diversity and inclusion has evolved rapidly, and in less than 4 years, we have transitioned from a level of awareness to a culture of inclusion. Our municipality continuously takes steps to eliminate inequalities. This shift reflects our commitment to fostering inclusive communities and organizations. By doing so, we not only attract talent, but we also stimulate innovation and economic growth. Looking ahead to 2024, we anticipate further strides forward with the implementation of our updated action plan, which focuses on 3 pillars: infrastructure, learning and engagement, and measurable impact. This plan outlines specific initiatives and objectives aimed at driving systemic change and ensuring the continuations of efforts beyond 2025. While we celebrate our accomplishments, we recognize that there's still work to be done to dismantle discriminatory systems and foster true inclusivity. By remaining dedicated to this cause, we now uphold the value of equity and fairness, but we also create an environment where individuals can thrive. Together, we can continue to push boundaries, challenge norms, and build a more inclusive future for all. I ask that the committee accept this report for information and our ongoing dedication to EDI initiatives, both within the City of Grande Prairie and the broader community. Thank you, and we are now open for questions.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies. This is an excellent report. It puts us in the right place for us to move forward. So kudos to your department. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to mention that I was really impressed with the involvement of the Youth Council, and I'm sure they had some good input, but to take them along and introduce them to a topic like this is great. And when it's time to go to business, I would make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. Look to you, Councillor O'Toole, for business.
It's a great report. Thank you very much. And I move the committee receive this report for information.
And that has been carried unanimously, so thank you very much. And thank you, ladies, and keep up the good work. And we'll now move on to 5.5, Alberta Winter Games. And Ms. Cajolet, would you please introduce the presenter, please?
Thank you. Through the chair. At this time, Ms. Katie Bieberdorf, Director of Sports Development, Wellness and Culture, will provide an update related to the 2024 Alberta Winter Games. Good morning. Thank you, Chair O'Connor. The Alberta Winter Games took place from February 16th to 19th of this year, bringing nearly 6,000 visitors to Grande Prairie. Our GIS department created an app for the games, providing directions and links to sports schedules that had 3,200 users and over 10,000 views over the weekend. As a legacy item, they have created a story map highlighting the games, and I'll just get the video played for the torch relay for you guys.
In the realm of sports, every young athlete carries a torch. It's not just a symbol of light, but a beacon of hope, a testament to resilience, and a vow to push beyond boundaries. Every step forward is a flame ignited, illuminating the path to greatness.
When the road gets tough, when the obstacles seem insurmountable, remember the torch you carry.
Let it guide you through the darkness.
Your source of strength in times of weakness.
And your reminder that in every challenge comes an opportunity to shine brighter.
So, young athletes, hold your torch high. Let its light guide you through the trials and triumphs of your journey.
Never forget the power you possess to illuminate the world with your talent, your dedication, and your unwavering spirit.
The flame is yours to carry. The legacy is yours to create.
Let's show the world what you're capable of. Alberta's cheering you on.
Great. So we do have that video as a legacy item for the city, which is amazing, and it will live on this website that GIS created as a story map for a legacy piece of the game. So that video will live there, as well as all of the information that I'm going to share today. So we had over 2,900 weekend passes sold through Bonnet's box office, as well as day passes that were sold on site. We had over 1,500 volunteers signed up to ensure the success of the event, and our city staff contributed over 2,400 staff hours during the games to support the event, and that was primarily within recreation and culture and events and entertainment departments. The bear branding was also extremely successful. We sold over 3,100 pieces of merchandise and had to add an online store after the games ended for those who were not able to get any merchandise throughout the weekend. Economic activity was predicted by Sport Tourism Canada at approximately 4.6 million for the Grande Prairie region, and we had a bear statue installed at the Eastlink Centre as a public art piece representing the games and the legacy it will leave behind. Zone 8, which encompasses Northwest Alberta, also won the Minister's Cup, showing the greatest improvement since the last games. And Zone 8 won the Spirit of Sport Award, which is demonstrating the spirit of fair play, sportsmanship, and team spirit. And I also have Lisa Kirchhoff, our games manager, here with us as well to help answer any questions. And did you have anything to add?
Nothing to add, just questions we can answer.
That's wonderful. I've heard nothing but great things. Kudos to how friendly Grande Prairie is and how people felt very welcome, and great to win those awards. I think this was one of the best organized. So kudos to you ladies. Wonderful job. Any other questions for the ladies, please?
Councillor O'Toole and then Mayor Clayton.
Thank you. Councillor O'Toole.
There we go. Like I said, when I was just out in Winnipeg at the Sports Congress, they seen my jacket that I was wearing Alberta Winter Games embroidered on the shirt. People come out and say, what a huge, successful games those were. And they were just over by a few days. And the word on the street was that Grande Prairie is the place to host events and be successful events, not just host events, be very successful at it. And I just wanted to, once again, thank you all in all the departments that were involved in those games. And when we do events, all the people that are involved in producing the event. And thank you. As an elected official, it means a lot when I can go 2 provinces over and be recognized within a couple of days how successful those games were. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mayor Clayton.
Thanks, Chair O'Connor. Yeah, just to echo some of the comments already said by my colleagues, I just wanted to thank Ms. Beaverdorf as well as the Games Manager, Lisa. The City of Grande Prairie and Council in particular has a priority of letting other people outside of our community learn more about our region and about our city. And so one of those initiatives in particular is hosting games. And being a game city is something that we're very proud of. It gives us an opportunity not only to highlight our incredible facilities, but our warm northern hospitality. And this Games did absolutely that. To hear the $4 million plus in economic development of dollars that were spent in our community is an added bonus that's great for the businesses and services that our community provide on a regular basis. So encompassing the fact that we hosted an incredibly competitive games and hearing from people across the province how wonderful our facilities are, and then in addition having significant economic development impact is incredible. So thank you to everybody that was involved. I know our team within the City of Grande Prairie takes great pride in running excellent events, but I know also that Lisa and the Board of Directors really took pride in making sure that this event was extremely successful and the goal was achieved. So thank you so much for everything that was done.
Okay. Any other comments from anyone else? Seeing none. Thank you very much, ladies. Congratulations.
Chair O'Connor, I'm happy to do business arising. I move that committee receive this report for information.
Call the question.
And
that's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. As there is no correspondence or other business, no bylaw review, and we'll look at the outstanding items list. Ms. Cajolet.
Thank you. Through the chair, the outstanding items list is up to date with all reports on track to meet the expected report date, and no changes are recommended from administration.
Okay. With that, thank you very much. I'll look for business.
I can do the business if you're willing so.
You're up.
I move that council or committee receive the March 19th outstanding items list as presented for information.
Thank you. That motion's in order. Call the question. That's carried unanimously. If there's no other business, I will call the meeting adjourned. How much time do you need?